Aliens and Earthlings. Let me adjust this fucker here. See how long it takes me to burn through this with a fucking cigarette. This is supposed to simmer down the sounds. See if it works in post. Anyways, it's your boy, the Khulubian. Back for round 2. Part 2. The Khulubian Chronicles. History of me. Last we left off, I was telling you about stealing light bulbs in high school, talking about that gang I ran, DTP. Anyways, I guess I'll just finish this up because I gotta get out of the way. I gotta get it done, and then it's done, and when it's done, I don't have to do it again. At least not in this fashion. Maybe in other situations I may recounts, but for now I'm giving it to you straight, fresh from me, and then we get it out of the way, and then it's done, and then good day, good day, good day, it's out of the way. So anyways, high school. I'm in Moncton now. It's where I am also now, right now. um what else do I want to say about high school? Fucking, we had 4 friends die in a car crash. That was heavy. Fucking, like, within a couple weeks of grade 11 starting. Jared, Corey, Jimmy, Brandon. Love you all. Rest in peace, wherever you be. On yonder, by now, I imagine. Into the next life. Needless to say, that was devastating. Fucked our grade up. A lot of my friends had to do an extra year just because they failed that fucking first semester, half, whatever the hell you call it. It sucked. It sucked, man. I loved all those guys. Brandon lived down the street from me. We used to skate all the time. Funny enough, I never started hanging out with him until high school. So we lived like literally 2 doors down. And yeah, I would see him. Like when I moved there, I saw him. I saw him and some other kids skating. And I was like, fuck these guys. I don't know, just being me. And anyways, they didn't like come around and try to talk to me. So I did not exchange the favor I was not extended. So anyways, we just knew that each other existed, but fuck if we were gonna talk until high school kind of made it kosher to connect. So however it came about, I feel like I had a chick involved somehow, maybe Shannon, but however it was, once it was like, yeah, you're the guy who lives like fucking right next door to me. Like, yeah, that's me, and that's you. Game was on. He skated. He was fucking just. He was like a one of these dudes just naturally gifted at damn near everything. Good at hockey. Good at most of the sports he played. Good at like, I don't know if you call it like, well, it's mountain bike. He had a mountain bike, but he was hitting ramps and just fucking good at riding that. And then just also good at skateboarding. It's I mean, people who skate, they'll fucking catch this, but y'all those who don't skate might not quite put it together. I would set a pole jam up, in my sewer. I had this, like, old coat rack that I found in garbage. They would have, like, spring cleanup days, and there's this, like, big old fucking, like, full-on, like, clothing rack you might see at a store. It was pretty well just a straight bar, but it had, fucking, supports that came down the side. Anyways, I broke that thing apart and like made this makeshift pole jam that I would jam one end in the sewer cap, and then you just kind of like pole jam over the sewer. So, anyways, I had a blast on that. Learned a bunch of pole jam shit. This guy would do like nose jams, nollie flips out, and like I don't know why I didn't put it together. I just assumed it was fake. Even if it was fake, it was fucking badass. But when he told me it was an ollie flip, I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't even ollie flip at the time, so it was impressive to me. Needless to say, he's a good ass skater. Good friend too. and Jared, me and Jared went back enough. We went back to Birchmount. Same with Corey. Jimmy was the one I met the latest. Jimmy knew my friend Justin that I spoke about, my Twillin' Fingers dynamic duo. So Justin put me on to Jimmy, you could say in a way, and we were friends all the same. So yeah, Jared lived in our neighborhood. Jared went to Birchmount. Jared's just a little guy, fucking full energy, funny motherfucker too. Miss him. Uh, Corey came to our school a little later, just like me. He was also from up north in the province, just like me. He's from, I think, like Bathurst or Beresford, whatever, around that area. And so we had that connection of that up north tip. So we get along well because he skated too. So he was a good skater too. So me, him, and Bram, we'd kind of skate together. Um, Jared kind of got into skateboarding just right before he kicked the bucket. That was I hooked him up with one of my boards, my first 8-inch deck, Al Partinen Creature deck. Right, hello. Any y'all interested in the skate info? That was that. So, anyways, they died like I said, just maybe a month into grade 11 starting. Just car accident. Going over a hill, struck by another guy, fucking head-on collision, just damage, devastating. It's, obviously I can say cliches like we were not prepared for that. We weren't fucking prepared for that. I think it was the first time for most of the people in my grade of my friends fucking losing somebody. This is definitely the first time, I think, for most of them losing friends their age. It was just fucking devastating. It's really, there's so much I guess I learned from that. One part that fucking stuck out to me hard was like people who didn't know them so much, like being distraught about it, and that made me feel so fucking weird because like I wanted to be upset, but then I see this fucking cat fucking being crying and shit, and it's just like how do you don't have the right to cry? Like I have the right to cry. Like I can't like it just seemed like having my own emotions was like fraudulent by them having them because it was like how are you crying right now? You didn't even know these cats and like I remember seeing this one girl that me and Jared used to tease and she was broke up and just like crying and it did not sit with me well. I just looking at her like we fucking did like you and you're shedding tears. I mean, in a way, God bless her for knowing that the hardship was hardship, but at the same time I feel like I was seeing true colors. People get on board and it's just mindless. Like I wouldn't do that myself. I don't think it's right to do, but I wouldn't go and tell me who now at this age is gonna go cry at somebody's funeral you don't even know. I mean, death is sad always, but um, it's also liberating, I guess. I say this because there's lots I've learned since about afterlife and whatnot, and I'll get into that like eventually after I get this shit out of the way. But um, for me at the time, in my young mind, all I could think was, I guess I just had a feeling like we we don't just cease, like I find like nihilists are just like some of the most stupid shit I ever heard. Like if you think about, okay, it's all for nothing and like you die and then there's just you just like that was it. Like what the fuck is that? Like what fucking point on God's green earth, is that why like I honestly think take this the wrong way, right way, fuck you, but if you're a nihilist, like just fucking shoot yourself right now because if death is you just die, it's the end, and it was all like it makes it all worth nothing, right? So if it's all worth nothing, stop fucking taking up space, you asshole. Especially with your dumbass mentality, fucking clogging up the wheels to evolution. Christ, man, that ain't how death go. So, anyways, I didn't believe in no like nihilistic take. Fuck all y'all nihilists. Fuck you. Um, I was, I didn't have any sort of belief like concrete at this age, but I figured like they were in some type of ether out in the fucking stars and like they were around. Maybe they would become like guardian angels for us all or some type of shit. I say a lot of God and angel shit, but it's just like I use them these words to describe. I don't. I guess I don't give a fuck. Label me Christian if you want. Suck my dick. But anyways, so I just knew that they were somewhere beyond. Maybe that helped me a little bit, to not be like they're just. I mean, they were gone too. Like they were gone from our life, and that sucks. Your brain does think a little bit of like what they'd be like now, and blah blah blah. And so, anyways, um, let me lighten this up a little bit with a funnier story connected to this all the same. So Jared, one of the kids who passed, he has a couple siblings. All right, so he has two brothers, both older, and one was like a decent amount older than us. I mean, I say decent at the time. 4 years older than us is like 10 years older than us. As you get in your 20s, 30s, 4 years is nothing. But anyways, I'm at the skate park years after Jared passed. Like I'm probably I don't even know. It's past 2012 for sure. So like maybe 2016. Boys died in 2007. I'm pretty sure. So I think because it was like the dates lined up kind of weird. It was September 8th, I think, and so like September's the ninth month. So like 9/8/7/07, 2007, whatever the fuck you want to say. So little like coinciding there. Anyways, to the skate park. I'm at the skate park. This kid rolls up on this fucking stupid ass bike. One of these bikes with like skinny ass tires, like street bike or some shit. Anyways, he's got this big old backpack on, and he's, you see goofs at the skate park every now and then. They just, stumble in the park and think it's like a playground, and they're gonna, I don't know, take advantage of the slides. So this guy is kind of going over some ramps, and these like, you hear the chain just slapping and shit, and like these tires are too skinny. I mean, I don't know what these are suited for, but they're not suited for the fucking skate park. So he goes and he kind of comes up one ramp and catches like, a little bit of air, comes down these skinny ass tires, psh, just fucking, I'm just sort of giggling to myself like, this fucking idiot just got dealt the idiot fucking hand. Come here. Anyways, so he bikes on over to, I'm sitting on a bench, I was just, I don't know, probably having a smoke, watching this shit go down. So he comes, sits on the bench, and, he's like, oh man, fuck. I'm like, yeah, like, that sucks, like, idiot. Basically what I'm thinking. So, anyways, he says he has, like, some shit to fix the tire in his backpack. So he starts, he opens his backpack, and then there's a bunch of beers in there, and this like takeout box. So he pulls the takeout box out and he's like, "Yo, man, like, you want a chicken wing?" I'm like, "I don't want no fucking chicken wing, dude." Like, I thought he was a kook because, like I say, he just rolled in here, like, was in the fucking skate park maybe 2 minutes, busts his tire like a dumbass. So, anyways, I don't want no fucking chicken wings from this dumbass. And then he's like, "Yo, you want a beer?" Beer, yeah, I'll take. So I took the beer. Anyways, he finds whatever the fuck he was looking for to fix his tire, and he didn't fix the tire right away. He just kind of started talking to me, and so is like kind of painfully basic conversation at the start. Just like, how you like, how long you been skateboarding, like, what else do you like to do as hobbies, and like, just felt like I was like a kid in kindergarten getting asked by an adult, like, what are your interests, like, fucking whatever. This is just how I was interpreting it. So anyways, he says this shit. I say, I skate and I like to paint and fucking do art shit and write blah blah blah. Anyways, so then I felt like, if he's asking me this question, I'll exchange the favor, tit for tat. I may be a prick, but it's not the permanent gear I got going on all the time. And even if I thought he was a dumbass, I'm still a human. So I'll be, human to a human, so to speak. So anyways, I say, what are some of your interests? I'm feeling kind of trite saying this, but whatever. And he's like, like, I like to, bike and to go hiking maybe. And he's like, I also like to go sailing. And so I'm like, okay, like I only knew one other person who sailed, and it was Jared and his brothers. So I was like, like, dude, do you know maybe I said Ross or Kyle? And the guy looks at me and he's like, dude, I am Kyle. I was like, what the fuck? Because I only met him once. So I only met him once when I was like 16, 15. He bought me my first Colt 45. Me, Jared, and Neil were down partying at Jared's cottage in Shediac. Anyways, he was old enough to buy liquor, so give him our $5, asked for some Colt 45s. He goes and gets them, and he basically just kind of like left, came back with the booze, and then just went back in the cottage and did whatever the fuck he was doing. So it was fine, cool, because we were just chilling, like we didn't know him. Maybe we felt awkward, I don't know. So anyways, he came out after. Eventually, we were around the bonfire at this point. This motherfucker got fucking stoned as shit, and he's like giggling to himself, like trying to tell us about this donair he got, and he just couldn't fucking like imagine the donair like had this like small like fucking pita, and then just this like enormous monstrosity of donair meat. And he's like, dude, like you couldn't even see the pita, man. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this pita, man? Like, I can't even wrap this pita around all this meat, man. Anyways, we were giggling at that, and then he's relaying the story of buying the Colt 45s, and he's like, man, the girl looked at me, and she's like, yeah, have a good night, and like, he had 3 Colt 45s. At the time, y'all kids don't know nothing about this, but they came in like a 1 point, fucking, don't quote me, 1.14 liter. I would say this shit, I don't know what it is, but it was over a liter. It was a big ass fucking bottle. It was a 40 ounce, basically. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know how all that shit goes, but it was a fucking big bottle. You buy one bottle. It started at like 425, and then I think eventually it was up to like 650, and then they just yanked those completely and just went to a smaller bottle, and now we just have the fucking tall cans. So fuck you, New Brunswick, for not bringing in those Colt 45s anymore, but whatever. So he's telling us the story about blah blah with the Colt 45s looking like a moron at the cache. So that's cool, and that's the only time I met him. So 16 years old, meeting him, and never saw him since. I probably would have seen him at the funeral, I imagine, but this is like 10 years after the funeral that I run into him at the skate park, so I didn't recognize him from fucking Adam. And here I am like, yo, like, well, do you know Ross or Kyle? And he's just like, I am Kyle. So, anyways, shout out Kyle, wherever you are. Hope you're doing well. Um, that's kind of a strange encounter type thing. Anyways, back to the boys. Hopefully that lightened the mood a little bit of it. I mean, it's a bit of a dark story, but dark story, fuck it, it's part of life too also. You're gonna lose people, and it's, I was just complaining to my wife downstairs about, like, if you don't develop, learn, understand, or get a fucking healthy understanding of what the fuck happens when you die, then you're just gonna be fucked throughout life. It can be this like extremely taxing emotional ordeal if you don't understand what the fuck happens after you die. Now, people will tell you, and people are morons. People will tell you, oh, we don't know what happens when you die. We don't know. Well, those people don't know because they're fucking stupid. So if you want to listen to a stupid person, buy into the stupid policy, be my fucking guest. I don't like you. You're clogging up the fucking wheels of evolution. I tell you this. So, anyways, if you want to know what happens after you die, there's plenty of ways to find that out. There are answers. You can go find them. I will tell you about them later, but it's not this fucking guessing game. There's not this mystery. So if you think there's a mystery, it's because you're a dumbass right now, and you've been hanging around with other dumbass people who only know dumbass shit. They don't know these fucking answers. So, if you just take a dumbass's lack of answers as the fucking limits of existence, guess who's a dumbass too? Fucking you. Fuck you. So, anyways, these boys die. Fucking devastating, as it would be. We had, like, the school was pretty good to us. They just sort of let us have, like, a month or two of just, like, kind of not really paying shit attention about school, just kind of dealing with what we were dealing with. And so I commend them on that. They did handle that well. Um, at one point, we had this stupid fucking psychologist. Fuck psychologists, I mean, some of them are okay, but generally, it's a strange field. Uh, so this guy comes in, and God bless our teacher, Miss Pipes, you fucking rock. So, anyways, he comes in, and he's supposed to kind of like counsel us and explain to us how to cope with this grieving process and yada yada yada. So we're the class, the mood's fucking somber, as you can imagine. It's fucking like just a month of just fucking kids moping around and shit. At least our grade, and maybe some of the kids in the lower grades that knew them, whatever. The people who knew them were all fucked up about this, of course. So this psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever the fuck he thinks he is, he comes in, and he's basically just straight to like, this is a part of life, and you guys need to basically move on. Like, I'm not even fucking paraphrasing. That's about what the guy said. And the fucking Miss Pipes looks at him and is just like appalled by this guy's just lack of tact. Just fucking shit bag. How he's a professional, God only knows. So she looks at, she's like, "Are you serious? Are you serious? Look at these kids." And he's just like, and she's like, "Get out of here. Get out of here right now." Kicks him out of class. Fucking love you, Miss Pipes. Killed it. So, anyways, got him the fuck out of there. And we went on our healing process. There's a lot of like cool times. I say cool times. There's funny stories that came about it. Just in hindsight, or not even in hindsight. I was there living it in the fucking thick, and so there's a few stories I remember about this. There's one time we were at I had mentioned last episode my house. It was like the house to go to. You just fucking whatever. My parents are always cool with having friends over. So we spent a lot of time there, just kind of moping around, fucking just hanging out, not saying nothing. We listened to Obi Trice, "We Will Die." We all die one day. It's a song by Obi Trice off the Cheers album. Fucking epic album. If you guys don't know that album, go fucking look at that album. If you're a fan of rap, it goes. And also his second album too. It's a very underrated album. Second Round's on Me is what it's called, and it's fucking banger too. 24 sitting on 20. Anyway, there's a good song on it called 24. So check it out. But anyways, so this story, I gotta pause here for a second. Just give me a second. Yo, I had to go get my wedding ring. I took a bath earlier and took it off. It's this weird like resin mixed with wood, and it's not supposed to get wet too much. And anyways, I was talking to y'all, and I get strange like this sometimes, and shit's not right. I can feel it. I sense it. Anyways, so I'm back now. I was about to tell y'all a story about us and our journey to healing, as I would say, after the boys died. So there's some kind of interesting tales, and one of the ones this always sticks out to me. Like I said, we've been just kind of like moping around my parents' house. We meet up there and we're just like, just not even talk. Except we were listening to Obi Trice and shit, and like we just, whatever. So we're moping around. This is, it's in the fall, so any of y'all know anything about gardening, there's a bunch of vegetables that are starting to kind of go bad because we're probably hitting like end of September maybe. And there's like cucumbers, tomatoes, and shit in my back garden. Anyways, there's probably about like, I'd say 6, 10 of us, something like this, and We were just kind of hanging in my backyard. I had a trampoline back there, so we kind of fuck around on that and shit. Anyways, one of my friends would pick on him all the time, but I do love this guy. He's mad at me right now, but Ricardo, wherever you're at, God bless. Talk to me soon, brother. So, anyways, Hurtado was a kid we kind of, pick on him a little bit, but he was our friend, he wasn't our fucking Ponzi or whatever. At least I didn't see it that way. So, I'd take a tomato or a cucumber or something, and I just fucking pelt it at him. Just fucking hit him with it. I don't know if I hit him in the face or whatever. It was a good shot. And you already know I fucking ain't shit for aim. So, tit for tat, as I like to say, he got right back at me with a fucking, I don't know, a tomato or something. So the other boys kind of witnessed this go down, and I think maybe he threw something at like another one of them, and just this whole fucking vegetable war broke out. We were just in the backyard, like, just tossing fucking rotten veggies and shit at each other. And so, like, it starts in the backyard, it goes around the front of the house, goes to the street that I live on, and we're like, we're covered in shit, like seeds and goop and fucking, like, it's like medieval times when they pelt shit at somebody. We're all that somebody, just shit, like, all over us. And the street looks like fucking chaos, man. It looks like, I don't know, festival grounds after, the day after the festival. Is just shit all over the fucking road. And, my neighbor calls my mom, and she's like, Debbie, you gotta go out and look what your kids have done, because I'm telling you, we made a fucking mess of this street. Anyways, she comes out, shit all over the ground, and she looks at us, and, she probably wanted to say something, but she looks at us, and we're all laughing. And it's like, I remember this because it was the first time we laughed like that since they fucking passed. And, healing, if it's healing, if it's catharsis, whatever it is, that happens in many millions of ways. And sometimes that way is a fucking full-on vegetable fight. So that did the trick for us. We got our spirits up that day, and I think every day after that was just a little bit better. But so that's one thing I do recall. I recall another funny story. My Twiddle Fingers friend, dynamic duo, he's a fussy eater a little bit, and one of the times we were kind of, my mom got us a bunch of pizzas. Little Caesars, like, just came about in the town, cheap pizzas, so she ordered a bunch of pizzas, went pick them up, and brought them back. So there's, like I'm saying, there's always, like, I don't know, 6, 10, 12 of us hanging out. Whoever was around, just come on down, because we just, just wanted to be around each other. Didn't know what the fuck to say, but we wanted to be around each other. So we did that, and she got us some food. And one of my friends was like, he's just not having pizza. Like, he didn't want no pizza. I don't even know why he didn't want no pizza that day, but he didn't want no pizza. And his mom was over there, too, because, I mean, it was hard on us kids, but it was also hard on the parents, I mean, the parents, some of our parents were there for us in strong form, but, I mean, those parents lost, like, my parents lost a friend in a way, too. They knew all these friends that passed, and they'd been through our doors, and my parents are always, like, talked to my friends and took interest and whatnot. Sometimes a little bit annoying to my friends. It's just because they'd be asking questions, and my friends maybe not so used to it, some of them. So anyways, my friend's mom's over there, and he's there, and so she's kind of like embarrassed, like, why are you eating this pizza? This God-blessed woman got you. And he's like, no, like, I don't want no pizza, I don't want no pizza. And my mom, I mentioned that in the last episode, she'll work around. So she's like, well, we got this. And so he settled on having fucking rolls and peanut butter. His mom is so embarrassed. She was like, why are you not eating pizza? It's just like, whatever, dumb story, but fucking funny story all the same. Yeah, fuck. It's, so we had 4 funerals to go to, obviously. Went to a fucking Catholic one. Fuck that shit. You guys, like, dude, priests can be such dickweeds. This guy's talking about how, like, our friend Jimmy, like, wanted to go to God and, like, was always a steward of God or some shit and, like, just was so happy to return home. Imagine that. Imagine being the fucking asshole telling a bunch of, like, 16-year-old kids that Actually, their fucking 6-year-old friend just wanted to go home to Jesus. Fuck you, man. Like, where do you get off? Fuck you and your shit. I don't know if that was the guy who came out later to be a diddler, but either way, he fucking diddled our spirits that day. Fucking cocksucker. Anyways, fuck him. The Catholic funeral was the worst. Baptist one couldn't have been much better. Those fucking assholes. Heaven and hell. Fucking right and wrong sins and shit. Suck a dick. Suck a dick. Um, then we went up to, well, my dad told you he's a minister. He did one. And crushed it. You know, I fucking, my dad or not, he did the best one. We like, for one, that funeral, they played some music that my friend actually listened to. It wasn't these goddamn church hymns. Um, I forget who did the eulogy, but eulogies are always, like, I think the best parts of funerals. You know, you get somebody who knows them, talks about them. Like, that's what a whole funeral should be. You know, enough of this God shit, especially if if you don't know fuck all. Fuck you. Anyways, so I'm telling all this because we had to go up to Bathurst for Corey's funeral. Because like I said, Corey's from up that way. So we get a van full of kids. My mom, you know, drive up. I think my dad took a fucking load too. I don't know. Anyways, we're driving up to the funeral, and on our way there, we see this fucking car like just we're on a like a double lane highway. You know, they get their lane, two triple lanes, whatever, two double lanes going this way, and we got ours going the other way. Boom, boom, boom. And so we're driving, and we see this car like coming, and it just swerves off, and then like into the ditch and just fucking crash. We like our four friends just died in a car crash. It was fucking surreal. Like I don't even feel like I could feel the tragedy of it. It was just like, what the fuck? Like, just so, I don't know, you know, I didn't even think it happened, even though I just saw it happen. So anyways, we stopped, of course, got out, did what we could. It turned out it was an elderly couple. I think he had like a fucking, I don't know what the fucking verdict was, so don't quote me, but it was something like, he just gave out, you know, and he fucking went offside. And I think what happened was him and his wife both got fucking done in that thing. Like I said, don't quote me. I'm just kind of thinking like that's kind of beautiful in a way to go with your wife. But yeah. So this was just fucked up, man. We're on our way to a funeral for a guy who died in a car crash. See this car crash where I know at least the fucking dude died. I think the wife died too. But yeah, and we're first on site. We're first on site. We watch the thing go down. We stop, get out. I remember my friend, God bless him. I laugh at it now, but he so like they're in the car, and you know what the hell's the right protocol? I don't know. Dickweeds and paramedics probably tell you don't move the body, blah blah, and there's probably merit to that and shit. But um, we're like, you know, what do we do? What do we do? My mom's a nurse, so she was kind of like giving us the lowdown. But one of my friends, he is a lifeguard at like Magic Mountain or some shit, YMCA, and so he had some like first aid training he needed. And like he's a 6-year-old kid, and he's like, let me in there, let me in there. Like I'm a lifeguard, I know first aid. Fuck, it just kind of like funny. Like yeah, oh we got a lifeguard. Sorry, doc, step aside. We got the lifeguard from the YMCA here. He's gonna save the day. So, anyways, I'm not actually shitting on my friend too much. His heart was in the right place for fucking sure, and you know, I'm just saying it was kind of funny in hindsight. But God bless him all the same. So, anyways, that was fucked up. We got to the funeral. I think part of it was in French, so my friends who didn't speak French didn't know what the fuck was going on. Did that, came home, whatever. Start to sort of get on with life. I say that sounds whatever, but what I want to say is that shared experience in our grade, I feel like just like solidified our friend group. Like after them passing, whenever we would party, it would be like everybody would be there. I mean, the kooks and the weirdos, there were always the kooks and the weirdos in our grade. They were still that. I mean, they weren't around there. You know, like high school. Say what you want about high school, but high school is a fucking microcosm of life. You know, you're learning two things. You're learning fucking bunk ass school topics, but you're also learning societal norms, so to speak. So, not all kooks are bad, but all kooks are kooks. So, anyways, those cats weren't at our parties, but the ones of us who like, knew them and weren't fucking weirdos, we just our bond was strong. And I have this contrast too because my sister, a bit younger than me, she went high school, of course, too, same high school, and I look at how her friends were kind of divided in high school, and so like her grade had like this sort of, there's a bunch of little cliques. I think that's kind of typically more so how it goes, but for us, like, I was hanging out with my party crew, like DTP, then there was kind of these jock dudes that, we didn't dislike, but they didn't necessarily hang with us the way we hung with each other. And then the chicks too, like we would hang with some chicks, and then the other chicks were more like the preppier chicks, who I don't know, fucking however you want to say it, but yeah, it just seemed like we were just cohesive after that. And so there's a beauty to that, and I'm sure there's fucking like dickweed psychologists who've done studies on this and just like shared traumatic experiences. They gotta bond people. I still got that fucking stupid thing on my hat. Bastard. Anyways, fuck you. Piece of lint. So yeah, that was quite the incident, and then it was fucked up too because after they died, and not even like after they died, before they died, Stare Steves, she died. Rest in peace, and she died like before we started grade 11 that year. And what was kind of trippy was Corey, who died in the car crash, a month or so after she died. She got hit, I think, by a drunk driver or something on Ryan Road. Devastating shit, of course. She and Corey were kind of dating, so it was like, that's fucking weird. It's like some fated soulmate shit or some shit. In the next life, they probably fucking connect on up. But yeah, so she passed and then he passed, so that part's kind of trippy. But then after they died, it was like every fucking year, for like 4 or 5 years, there was just fucking deaths. There's this big death in Bathurst, this like basketball team, some shit, snowy roads, bus went off the road type thing. Don't quote me, but like, I'm in and around the area of what happened, and they had, I don't know how many, but it was a number. It wasn't just like one or two. It was like maybe 5 or 6 dudes who died, dudes and a parent or something. Like I said, don't quote me, but you can look it up if you like. So I think that was the year after, like, our friends died, and then there was kind of fucked up because these other set of twins, they moved to our school, and they had just come from Bathurst, so they were like, I think what happened, they moved to our school the year that the boys died, so like they didn't necessarily know them because they just moved there. But then the next year, it's like their friends from where they just moved from, they fucking died. So it was just like bam, bam, and then there was 2 suicides like year after year. There's Cole Ryder. I didn't know him that much. He went to another school, but I think I must have I played football with him. I didn't, if I saw him I would have said hi type thing, but I'm not gonna like confess to say that I knew him all that well or anything. But nonetheless, he's fucking, yeah, he died. I think the year after them, and then our friend Garrett Burton, rest in peace, man. He also, yeah, done did it, and yeah, so that's kind of fucked up. There's just like year after year. It's like I couldn't get a year fucking go by without somebody dying. Like, god damn, man. So if I didn't fucking figure out the ways to figure it out, the first time around, well, jolly you. Guess who's getting lesson two? 3, 4, fucking here's some more. So, anyways, these events would later on inspire me to go sort of look up what the fuck happens after you die, because I've heard what y'all have heard, the basic shit of like, people think they don't know. People don't know, and therefore you think that it's there's no answer around, but that ain't the fucking case. Like, it's just the people don't know, but just because they don't know doesn't mean it's not known. So that's a principle you can apply for fucking everything in your life. Just because who doesn't know it doesn't mean it can't be known. Remember that. Remember that. So, anyways, later I think in college when I start sort of reading shit about that in college, in that 1 year of college I did. Um, but I guess I can get to that here quick enough, because that was the most, that was a major thing that happened when I had DTP going on the whole time. But I mean, like, DTP is a fucking shadow compared to that. DTP was funny. Like I told you about some of the initiation stories a little bit. Um, Maybe I didn't say no initiation stories. Yeah, I think I did. Anyways, whatever. People wanted to get in the gang, and so thus they did. I'm pretty sure I said gang stories. I filmed one of these first, and then I said some shit, and I'm not gonna put that one out at least yet, because that was like part one, like beta testing, and then I did like part one official. So, anyways, that's why I'm getting confused and mixed up here upstairs. But anyways, yeah, DTP going on, and I feel like that's most of what you need to know from high school. I guess I'll tell you this like little funny story. So I had one of my friends' IDs that was older than me, and I would use as a fake ID. He had kind of like longish blonde hair, and we passed fairly similar. So I would use this ID, like, I just, whatever, had this, I think, grade 11 and 12. So basically I just didn't go to the booze store that he went to all the time. I tried to go to different ones. But it was just a magical thing to have. Easy pass. Well, I'll tell this story too, because my fucking wife cracks up with this story. It is a fucking goddamn story I have too. But so I told you a story about like drinking booze for the first time, and I was drinking the fucking Bacardi and Bud Light half and half mix and like whatever. So, anyways, there's a couple parties after that, and then eventually I got caught. I think we went to homecoming. Homecoming was this big party around Thanksgiving, and I stayed over at my friend's house that night, and his mom knew we were both plastered, and she was basically like, either you tell your mom or I will. So, Claire, you put me in a dirty position like that, but I understand. Anyways, so I told my parents, of course, just out of the fear that she might. Didn't go down smooth. So they were not pleased. My mom was not pleased, and just, mad, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then, start asking questions like, how'd you get the booze, blah, blah, blah. And, I told them that I had this ID or whatever, and oddly, they didn't, like, try to take that ID. They were just like, don't use that. Like, from now on, like, we'll get you your booze, and, like, they worked with me. They weren't completely just like, you're grounded, you're fucked for life type thing. It was just sort of, they were disappointed, and so yeah. But I mean, that's a part of high school living. If I had a kid and the kid wants to drink in high school, I'm not gonna. But this is hindsight, and hindsight, or also like, it was at the time sight too, because I knew it was fucking kind of immature of them to get so bent out of shape about this. But whatever. They're growing up too. What's that quote? Like, you gotta remember that your parents are growing up as well as they are your parents. Some shit to that effect. Whatever. So, anyways, they're like, yeah, we're gonna buy your booze. So I'm like, okay, like, fuck this. I really don't want to do this, but I'm playing along, playing the game, whatever. So the next party comes to go to, and there's just some funny shit that happened in this party, like, motherfucker. So, anyways, we me and my friend Wilson, shout out Wilson, wherever you at. Um, we get my dad to drive us to the party, and so it's like, I'm like, are you guys gonna get me booze? Like, yes, okay. So I tell my dad what I want. I tell him I want a pint of Jack Daniels. Now my dad's not so savvy with drinking, so like already I'm just like, this is just really like almost the worst option. I don't even know if he knows what Jack Daniels is. So, anyways, we're in the car, and we got one of our family friends there too. Shout out Mike Day. So he's rolling thick with us, and my dad, I've asked him a little bit about this story later on, or after the fact. He was telling me about like just how awkward he felt doing it, because like, he was sort of not completely on board with the idea, and then he's got his fucking friend in the car with him, and just didn't know how his friend was gonna like think about him going to get booze for his son and shit. So, anyways, we get to the liquor store. He goes in. He comes out. I don't see nothing in his hands. Right? He kind of puts some shit in his pocket. Maybe. I was like, okay. Then he goes to the trunk. Pops the fucking trunk. Like, puts something in the trunk. Gets in the car. Starts driving us to the party. So I'm like, whatever. I mean, fuck it. He puts in the trunk. He puts in the trunk. We get to the party. Wilson gets out. He goes in the party. I get out. I'm like, got my booze. My dad gets out. Goes, pops the trunk. Fucking pulls up this mat that's like over the spare tire. And then he grabs this and like hands me a fucking Shorty 40 at Jack Daniels. Like the sampler size. I call them Shorty 40. Some people call them airplane size, whatever the fuck. Hands me this fucking Shorty 40 at Jack Daniels. I damn near hit the roof. I want to hit him. Fuck it. I was like, you stupid motherfucker. Like, I knew this shit was shoddy to begin with. You fucking tell me to trust you to get my booze. I asked for a pint of Jack Daniels. Give me this stupid ass Shorty 40 fucking Jack Daniels. Fuck you, man. Anyways, I was mad. I just took it as like, I don't even want to talk to you. Like, get out of here, asshole. Anyways, going to the party. I walked down, and I was like, my friend Neil's there. I was like, dude, look what Jim got me. And I just hold up this while he cracked up all over the place. It was funny to everybody else and me, as it should be. Anyways, I wanted to biff that shit at the wall, and then I think Wilson was like, no, like, let me have it. So, thankfully, Neil had like a half pint of Jack Daniels or some shit, so he sold me that, and away the night went. So, anyways, we go to leave this party, and so we're leaving, and I'm like, yo, Wilson, because Wilson was going to drive me. I was like, Wilson, like, come on. She's like, yeah. And so we're going to leave. Some of y'all ain't going to like this story, but fuck it. This is what happened. So we go leave, and Wilson's like, just wait a minute. So he runs back. I thought he forgot something downstairs. It turns out he did in a way. So he fucking is down there. I'm waiting at the door, and then I hear like, oh my god, like, you made out with Wilson. Like, these girls are yelling and shit, and Wilson just comes like booking it up the stairs like, let's go. So I'm like, God only knows what the fuck he did. Turns out this girl was like kind of semi-passed out. He went and like kissed her, and so she woke up, she started kissing him, not really realizing who the fuck he was. Then sort of like gets cognizant, realizes it's Wilson. I don't know if she was particularly mad, but Wilson wasn't too high on the fucking totem pole, at least with the ladies. So these other girls were like, "Oh my god, like, you made out with Wilson." Probably just made that girl feel like shit. Bitches being bitches. But anyways, so we got in the car, and like I didn't know this. Like, this what I just told you about what went down. I found this out after the fact. So, anyways, we get in the car. I'm not really sure what the hell he did. I don't even care. I'm probably, half in the bag anyways, at least. So we get home. Me and Wilson had made plans to go skateboard. So, anyways, we made plans to go skateboard the next day. So, anyways, I get home, get my sleep, wake up in the morning, ring on the home phone, because it's the times we're dealing with. And, like, yo, is Wilson there? And his stepdad was just notoriously a prick. Probably still a prick. Fuck you, Tracy. You made my day shitty that day. So, as you can imagine, just a reminder, the tensions about me drinking are already high. And then, we're getting this whole situation of, like, now my parents are buying my booze. And that's tense, just adding to the tension. So I get this fucking asshole on the phone, like, is this Caleb? Like, did you drive Wilson? He probably didn't call him Wilson, but did you drive Wilson to the party last night? He's like, let me talk to your parents. And I'm always going to fucking regret. I don't like using that word too much, but This is a stupid move I did. I handed the phone to my parents. Why I didn't just hang up on that idiot? I asked myself. Anyways, so I hand the phone over to them. He is fucking, chewing them out, blah, blah, blah. They get off the phone. They're fucking not pleased, like they took kind of like a leap of faith and like, buying me my booze and, sort of being transparent about me partying and shit. Like, I tell you, it was an ordeal with my parents. I didn't, whatever. I've always, I'll fucking get into like what I think about that later. But anyways, so they get off the phone. Apparently, the girl's father, who Wilson stole a kiss from, she or he called Wilson's stepdad, accused Wilson of some allegations, say using the R word, blah blah blah, and like, there was none of the R word going down, but just saying, like he took advantage of her, blah blah blah, and so this is now I'm hearing about this because, like I said, all I knew is like I heard like, oh my God, you made out with Wilson, and Wilson comes running up the stairs, and then we get in the car and we go, and so I learned out like after the fact like what happened with the whole thing that made these girls say, oh my God, you made out with Wilson. And so then apparently she, I don't know what the hell goes on. So my parents basically ground me. Like, you can't go to parties no more. Like, you go to parties, this shit happens. Like, what the fuck? So anyways, I'm just like, this is fucking terrible. I was planning on going skating right now. Now I gotta deal with this bullshit. So anyways, fuck that. Go to school Monday. Meet up with Neil. Neil's like, he's like, dude, listen to this. Just giggling his face off. Neil, fucking after Wilson made out with this chick and then, runs upstairs, blah, 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 Neil calls Wilson's stepdad and pretends to be fucking that girl's father and says like, yo, your son fucking interfered with my daughter and shit. And Wilson, like, God bless Neil, man. He's got a skill with the fucking prank phone calls. This guy didn't know it wasn't fucking that girl's dad. Thought it was her dad. Fucking hit the roof. I mean, I told you that guy's a moron to begin with, so I mean, he probably believed that fucking no problem. Hit the roof, fucking pissed at Wilson, as you would be if that was the actual situation that went down, and not some fucking 16-year-old kid prank calling you, telling you that your fucking stepson done fucking, like, molested a chick or some shit. Anyways, I got my shit blowing up over fucking Neil doing a prank call. Tracy's wired because, like, and anyways, fucking just shit fell down my stream, straight down the line. Whatever. I don't think I ever got them to buy my booze again. Fuck that. That was out the window. Out of question. Not even fucking an option. I'm trying to say. Anyways, I started this whole thing to talk about the fake ID because, or the ID, the lookalike ID. It was just start of summer, like maybe grade fucking 11 summer. I don't know what it was, but basically I wasn't 19 yet, and summer started. We went to the booze shop. I went, got some booze. This lady was looking at my ID like kind of too hard, like just like, and I feel like maybe she knew the guy whose ID it was and was like, knew it wasn't me, and so she's like asking me like sign the signature as like an authentication type shit. So I signed the signature, not even knowing, because I remember the date of birth and I remembered the fucking street, because, you gotta have your P's and Q's in order when you're, dealing with these illegal things, whatever. I mean, because they're gonna ask, maybe they ask, so you gotta have that fucking answer on tap so you don't look like a fucking fool, right? You don't want to cause any more red flags than you already are. So I didn't even ever think of the signature, so I signed it, and then I luckily I signed it just like him. He wrote cursive, I wrote cursive at the time. So anyways, she's like, yeah, this is not you. Like, you need to go. And she just made me leave and kept my ID. I was like, fuck. Like, I was driving away. I was so fucking pissed. So bummed. And I remember this because I feel like this is one of the first times I ever used data on my phone. I was like, I gotta fucking... I like this is not sitting well. Like, I don't know, I gotta do something. Like, that's my idea, like start of summer, like, and now I got fucking, how are we gonna get booze? Because I was the guy, like, there was not a plethora of fucking people carting and toting fucking fake IDs in my friend group. It was me and one other guy, and I think that other guy only got it like after me. So I got this thing, and it's like I'm the guy with the fucking juice, and now the juice just got cut off. Like, fuck, what do I do? So I decide to call that liquor store, and I don't know what I was gonna do, but me, I always seem to come up with some shit on the fly. So I call, I get, uh, I get the manager, I guess, and so I was like, hey, dude, like I was just in there, and like this girl, she took my ID, and he's like, she what? I was like, yeah, like I went and she just like she took my ID and like told me to leave. She's like, well, she's not allowed to do that. That's illegal. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I know, yeah, I know. Like I just jumped on that shit because I didn't fucking know, but like, yeah, I'm gonna roll with this. I'm like, yeah, yeah, I know. Like I didn't think that was right. He's like, no, no, she shouldn't be able to do that. She's not allowed to do that. Like, you know what? You come in, you come straight to my office. Like, I'll get you your ID back. So turn the car around, go back to that liquor store. I walk in like smug as a motherfucker. And this girl, she looking at me as I'm walking in. I just walk straight to the office, get in there, and the guy's like, man, like, I'm so sorry. He's like, you know, I look young too, and he did, you know. I mean, I was underage, but he still, you know, looked younger than his age, whatever the fuck his age was. And he's apologizing to me, just saying he gets it, and like, blah, 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 and that's not legal, and it's not right, and if it ever happens again, like, don't let it happen. And so he hands me that ID back. I was on fucking cloud nine. I walked out of that office. I looked right at that bitch, held up the ID, one hand, middle finger the other, like, fuck you. And fuck that bitch. Fuck you. Christ, do me dirty like that. Anyways, got my ID back, never went back to that fucking cashier ever. I'd be in there sometimes, but I would, yeah, I'm not going down her lane at all. So, anyways, got the fake ID or the look-alike ID back, and whatever. Had a good summer, I'm sure. So, that's that. I'm just running through my brain if there's any other stories I really want to tell about high school. Um, there's some hilarious stories with Wilson. I'll tell this one other one because it's just like too fucking funny. He, like I said, I mean, ladies' man, maybe not so much. I liked him. He's a friend of mine. He skated, so if you skate, you're basically in my good books. I guess I got two stories I'll tell. I'll tell the funnier one after this, but one time, Wilson and this kid Richard, they show up at my house like it was Saturday at like maybe I don't know like noon or some shit. I was sleeping in something like this. My mom comes up like, "Hey, like there's your friends are here." I had no clue who the fuck was there. I had no text about nobody, no plans like arranged or nothing. So I go downstairs. There's Wilson and Richard, and they're fucking stoned as hell. I can smell it off them, let alone look in their red ass eyes. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? They're like, oh, bro, like, there's an Alice Cooper concert at the Coliseum. Like, we're gonna go sneak in. Yeah, I'm like, sneak in. Like, what are you gonna do? They're like, oh, you just wait out back, and like, they open the door for the smokers, and when they open the door to let the smokers back in, you just walk back in. I was like, you guys, like, this is a fucking pipe dream. Like, this is the shoddiest fucking plan I've heard. Somebody just opens the door and you just walk back in. Like, you can tell me this is how you sneak into a concert? The Coliseum's only 2 minutes from my house, so I said yes. I was like, you know, whatever, I'll go with you guys. Meanwhile, my mom's like over my shoulder, like, oh, boys, like, I just made some brownies. You want some brownies? These two stone motherfuckers, sure enough, they want some brownies. So they eat the brownies, and they fucking whatever. Uh, finish those up. Then we leave. We walk down the street 2 minutes, and we go to enact this fucking half-assed plan, as far as I'm concerned, sneaking into this Alice Cooper concert. So we go, we're standing out back, there's, you know, some people around, they're smoking. They open the doors. We just walked in. We walked in. I couldn't fucking believe it. We just walked through the doors, walked up into the like some stage seating and just sat there. Saw Alice Cooper for free. They were telling the truth. They knew. I mean, I don't know if they knew, but they heard, and what they heard was correct. So, anyways, saw Alice Cooper for free. Thank you, Wilson. Now, the second one is just some bullshit. We're partying at my friend's house. the friend's basement I mentioned in the last episode with the pull apart couch and Schmoke's getting fucked up. So anyways, partying, having some drinks, blah blah blah. And Wilson's there and he's telling us that he's getting some chicks to come over. And so we're like, dude, what chicks are you getting come over? And he's like, man, like, you don't know them. They're from another school. Classic fucking line, right? Anyways, so we're like, yeah, bullshit, fucking teasing them. The night's getting older and older and older, and these chicks, sure enough, like, they're just not coming. So we're like, Wilson, like, you fucking idiot, like, telling us this shit, like, these girls are coming, they're not coming. Like, it's been like 3 hours. Like, and he was insistent these girls were coming. They just would not give up the fucking ghost, as I say. So anyways, sure enough, and now I'm thinking of this twice. Wilson's been a man of his word. So he he's like, yeah, they're here. So we're looking out the window, and this fucking transport truck, like not with the trailer on it, but the front end of a transport truck, pulls up, door opens, and two girls get out. Not, they look like chicks that he would know. We'll put it this way. So, anyways, these two broads, they come in the house. They're from, I don't know if they're from Salisbury, what the fuck, like, we didn't know them, and they're the country, you know, whatever. I like the country, but these girls, country bumpkins, whatever, fuck it. So, I feel like this is a funny story, but it's maybe not the wisest one to tell. Anyways, so they get in the house, and they're like, you know, they start having some drinks with us, and then they offer us, I think they call them bennies, like some pill, some shit like truckers do. No, I never, pills not my game. Psychedelics, okay, but so I'm like, yeah, no, and I don't think any of us took them. Maybe Wilson took some. I don't know. So anyways, we party with them, blah blah blah. Night's fucking too old for me. I go to the couch, pass out. So I'm passed out, and I'm woken by this giggling. Like I hear all this giggling, and it's dark. There's like maybe a lamp on somewhere in the background because I can see, but I just hear this giggling, like you know, little boys fucking giggling, and so I can make out like 3, 4 of them. And as my eyes adjust, I can sort of see what's going on. And one of these broads, she's a bigger lady. She's passed out on the other couch, the one that got pulled apart and smokes got slammed in. She's passed out on this thing with her backside to them, and they're fucking throwing shit. They're throwing darts. They're fucking throwing darts. I look over and this girl's got like 3, 4 darts sticking out her ass. And they would throw the dart, and they weren't far away either. I mean, they were like 5 feet away from this girl, just boom, hucking darts. So, and they would go and they grab the darts, pull them out. The girl, like, she didn't notice for a good, like, 4 or 5 darts going in her. Finally, she woke up. She woke up, had darts in her ass, and just, like, reaches around her ass and, like, pulls out the darts, and not even a shed of horror, really. Just, like, ugh, oh my god, you guys are so immature. And then just calls like whatever the fuck her friend's name's, like Becky Lou, we're going. And just gets up, fucking makes a phone call, and the truck, transport truck, comes, picks him up, takes him away. Fucking funny shit. Anyways, lots of fight times in high school. I'll leave this for now as part 2. We pretty much wrapped up high school. Next episode, I'll get into, I guess, community college and my life outside of high school. Anyways, thank you for listening. Love you all. Get the fuck out of my room. Peace.